Hello. Welcome everyone to the OBM opportunity. We are so excited to have all of you here. Welcome. Hello. Happy Wednesday, favorite day of the week when we get to come here and talk with all of you. I think why I am so freaking excited about today's guest is because when we asked all of you OBM hopefuls and current OBMs out there what you wanted to learn, the top thing that I heard was, Ashley, if I'm going to do this, how the heck do I set myself up financially? Right? I heard that time and time again, and that is exactly what we're going to talk about today. As you know, we want to keep this moving, and also as interactive as possible. So, first question, put into the chat. The question is, when you think of retirement, what comes to mind? What images come to mind? What feelings come to mind? What numbers come to mind? Like, what is it? What comes to mind? Put it into chat. What comes to mind? I'm thinking about mine right now. The words that are coming to mind are sooner than later, which I think is funny. What is also coming to mind for me is beach, owning my own time, vacation home, travel. Yes. Love seeing these. What else, everyone? When you think of retirement, what does it taste like? What does it smell like? What does it look like? Who's with you? Who's not with you? What do you spend your day doing? Oh, question. When you think of the word retirement, what comes to mind? Oh, Kim. Yes. Vacation without worrying about money. I tell everyone that my sign that I have made it is when I can book a business class ticket without looking at the price and just being like, yep. I have a hard time sitting still, so I would probably have to pick up a part-time job to keep me out of trouble. Oh my gosh, I love it. Doing whatever I want. Yes. When I think of retirement, not soon enough. Oh, easy like Sunday morning. Y'all, these are fantastic. Not having to worry about money. Yes. Y'all, this is so fantastic. And you are really bringing your A games today with all of this great information. Real quick, before we jump in, who am I? I'm CEO and founder of Prowess Project, Ashley Connell. What does Prowess do? We vet and train online business managers and match them up with the CEOs who need them in order to scale their business. And so today we are helping all these OBMs understand how to be financially free. So with that, I am bringing up the amazing, the amazing, the lovely Jessica Tomac. Welcome.
Thank you for having us, Ashley. We're super excited to be here.
Oh, good. Like I said, this question has been asked from our audience so many times, and so we are forever grateful to have you. So, Jessica, real quick, give us the quick and dirty of who you are, how you got to where you are. Just talk to us.
Yeah, so I'm a certified financial planner, work with Edward Jones. And how I got into the business is I was in corporate America really looking for how do I build financial security? What does this look like? And what direction do I need to go into? And I had several different financial advisors, 5 of them that I fired because they wouldn't help, they didn't answer, they didn't understand, it felt like an inconvenience. And finally was like, I can do this, and I'm going to build my business on helping women and business owners be successful financially and have a partner with them to really rally and kind of coach them into financial security and wealth management.
The chills that I have all over is like unexplainable. I can so relate in so many levels to your story, especially about feeling like an inconvenience versus a priority, especially when it comes to money. Whole different episode that we can probably do together. But so why was helping females in particular so important to you, especially around money?
Yeah, so what I found, a few things have happened, right? One, I watched my grandma who didn't have the right protection in place lose everything because nobody talked to her about it, right? And then she went from having money to not. I watched my parents struggle with their finances, and I thought I never want to be in that spot. And I really felt like when I was interviewing and meeting with financial advisors, they would answer my husband or ignore me or whatever. And I thought, look, there's an unmet need to really empower women. And there are more women business owners. Women will hold 80% of the financial wealth over the next 15 years. So I'm all about girl power. We need to make sure we're educated to make great choices and really feel good. So when we book that first class ticket, we don't have to feel guilty, right? I still am like, oh, I can't do that. But I want to get to the point that I'm like, oh yeah, that's great. That's a treat. But all of these folks, right, that said, I don't want to have to work every day and earn my income. Like, how do you get an income stream without working? Those are the reasons I came into this business and decided women need a voice. We think about money differently. Security means different things to us than it means to a man. And really having that connection, I thought was super important.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Let's dive into that specifically. How should women be thinking about money, especially in their future and retirement, etc.?
Yeah. So really, I want every woman to know that they can create a plan that makes them self-reliant and that they can generate their own income stream. So they don't have to go to work every day forever. And that's what financial security really is. Getting in a position where you don't have to worry about, oh man, if I got fired today, I don't know how I would pay my bills. No, you have a game plan. And this financially does not impact you because you're in the driver's seat.
Oh, yes, that sounds like an absolute dream. Absolute dream. So, in the audience today, we have two groups of people. First group, these are people who are currently in a corporate job or currently taking a pause in their career, and they are thinking about taking the leap to become an online business manager. They haven't done it yet. So, how would you suggest, or what tips do you have for them to get their finances in order so that they can take that leap that they desperately want to? And then we'll talk about the second group who have already taken that leap.
Yeah, so those folks that haven't taken the leap yet, first, I hope you haven't quit your job yet, right? Ultimately, I would like you to be debt free. And when I mean debt free, it doesn't have to be your house, but if you have credit card debt that's at high interest rates, you really need to get your home in order. And so that's going to be first and foremost understanding what your budget looks like. What do you need to truly live on versus, oh, well, I like that Starbucks and I like going out for dinner and the extra discretionary spending. Understand what those two look like, both separate and then together, and then make sure that you have, before you take that leap, 6 to 12 months, if you're truly leaping and you have no other income coming in, 6 to 12 months of your living expenses in cash in the bank is what I would tell you.
6 to 12 months of living expenses in the bank. I love that. I'm repeating it just so everyone can hear that. I think that's really, really, really important. And something that I wish I would have thought a little bit more about before I even took the leap. So into entrepreneurship. So again, want to really, really highlight that. So then there's the other group of, hey, I already took the leap. My business is created. I am trying to find clients. How do I make sure that I am setting myself up for success on a monthly basis now, or whatever that looks like, so in the future I can buy that first class business class ticket, I can have the vacation home, what have you?
Yeah, so I think it's twofold. For someone just starting out in the business, what I would say is be really careful. Sometimes people get overzealous. They spend way more in marketing than they have in income. And then you just dig yourself into big ditches of debt, right? And you just worked really hard to keep yourself out of debt. So I understand with all businesses, there's a temporary period of time that you may be encountering debt as you're building that business, but you really have to have that business plan in place saying, this is what I'm going to spend. And if it's not netting you the right results, then that forces you to tweak those things to be more efficient and more effective with those dollars. for someone whose business is really rolling and they're like, hey, I am killing it. I'm thinking about, what are my next steps? For them, it's really about how to not pay more in taxes than you're legally required, right? We have to pay what is Caesar's to Caesar, right? But we don't have to give them more, and they'll be happy to take all of it if we let them. So really looking at tax deferred opportunities, whether that be a retirement plan within your work, looking at tax efficient savings, and then if you're hitting your retirement goals, saving for that boat or house or second home, whatever it is, and really having some strategies in place to save, make it tax efficient or tax free if possible, and really working through those finances.
Oh, you said so many things that have just like gave me all of these ideas of questions that I have. But real quick, audience, this is your time. If you have specific questions, please, please, please put them in the chat and we will do our very, very best to get to them. If we cannot, I will see if Jessica can, send me some boxers or something that I can
be happy to.
Perfect. So a couple things that you said there. So let's say you're already starting, you already started your business. Now, again, this is a business. What rule of thumb would you give to everyone of a percentage to hold off for taxes and a percentage that you would hold off for savings from your take home each month?
Yeah, so if they are 100% self-employed, really kind of that rule of thumb is somewhere between 30 and 35% of your income for self-employment taxes.
30 to 35%. Highlighting that 30 to 35%. Okay, perfect. And then what about the savings for savings or savings retirement, what have you?
Yeah, I tell folks to start with 10%. An average person saving 10% for retirement is not going to get you to your retirement goals. However, it's a great starting point. So 10% for a starting point, working your way up to whatever number is required for you to hit those goals that you have for yourself.
I absolutely love that. And I think there's this misconception on what it looks like when you're saving. How do you know? Do I just put that in my savings account? Do I talk to someone about investing? Question mark. Like, how should we be thinking about that when we do have that 10% to start putting away?
Yeah, so if it's 10% for retirement, then you should be investing it. That will look different than just sitting in your bank, right? Because sitting in your bank, it's going to grow very little or not at all. So that savings for retirement is definitely in some type of retirement vehicle, whether it's a pre-tax or after-tax vehicle. The saving for your emergency fund, that can absolutely be your savings account at the bank that you have to be disciplined to say, I'm only touching it in the event of an emergency. And wow, these Prada shoes are on sale is not an emergency, right? But it is, hey, the air conditioning went out and I need to get it fixed. The car broke down and I can't get to work. Those are emergencies. That's what you pull from that bucket, and then you immediately stop everything else and go fill that bucket back up.
That's such a good point. So what is your recommendation on, if we're talking about that first group of people, they have their emergency fund, and then do you think it's smart to have a whole other account that is saving for that 6 to 12 month
shift in business?
Ooh, there we go. That's a good term. Shift in business. Yes.
Shift in business, right? Being employed to self-employed. And yes, absolutely. And if they think, hey, this is going to take me a year or a year and a half or some period of time, then utilizing some short-term CDs is perfect, right? Those are making 5% right now for a 3-month CD, a great way to make money on your money and not have it tied up. So if something did kind of break loose early with the business, you're like, hey, yeah, I've got this money, and in 3 months you're ready to go.
Oh, I love that. Okay, now switching back, I know I keep bouncing on you. Switching back to, we were talking about investment vehicles. What should we be earmarking is a good estimated investment percentage to say, hey, yeah, that's probably a good thing to put my money in, or no, I could probably get a better return elsewhere?
Yeah, so for retirement, less about daily return, it's all about long term.
Mm,
So if we think about, if we looked at last year, everything was down. It didn't matter if you were in the bond market or the stock market, everything was down. So finding, based on where we're at, finding whatever's on sale and putting your new money in that, that's how you're going to build the most wealth the quickest. Versus just saying, hey, I'm going to throw it into here and hope it's the right stuff. Being a little bit more strategic on how you're putting that money in is going to build that wealth faster.
I like that. I like that a lot. So there may be a ton of people in the audience who are like, oh dear, this is all way above my pay grade. I feel behind. I don't have the 10% yet. Like, what recommendations do you give to them? Because I'm assuming they're not alone.
No, they are not alone. And don't wait, right? So you're thinking, I'm already behind. How do I get caught up? Well, don't wait till next month because you'll be further behind. So starting something now is better than waiting. And yes, you might not be where you are, but if you don't start somewhere, you don't even know how far off you are. And really looking at what those, create a financial plan. Probably can't create it on yourself unless you're pretty savvy. So hire somebody, or I'm offering a free consultation for anyone who's on this podcast to be able to ask me. We'll work through some questions, and we'll be able to give you an idea of here's where you should be, here's where you need to go, and here's how you can get there, right? So sometimes just knowing what's my next step is really powerful versus being frozen and being like, oh, I don't even know where to start, so I don't do anything.
Jessica, I absolutely love this. Is the best way for people to contact you specifically about that consultation via your email?
The email, yes.
Perfect. Leah, if we have that, can we put that in the chats? If not, y'all, we will put it in the follow-up link. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So are there any other do's or don'ts that you have for the group when thinking about saving for retirement?
Yeah, so don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Ooh.
Don't chase the shiny object that everyone's talking about, because typically when they're talking about it, it's at all-time highs. And when you buy stuff at highs and sell it on lows, you only end up broke. Nobody wants that. When you think about your financial plans, one of the mistakes that some folks do is they put everything in retirement and then they don't live in the moment. You have to balance your goals and things today with those of the future, and really understand what are those trade-offs. If I do this, then it means this for this other side. We can't do everything. We can't be all things to all things. So therefore, what is most important, and then really giving some structure to what that looks like.
I love that you're bringing that up. I think when we talk about these kind of topics, we often forget, like, life is worth living too. Like, we want to make sure that we're setting aside time and really prioritizing that as well. I'm really glad that you brought that up. Here's one thing that I hear from a lot of women who are either about to take that leap in that shifting of business, or who have already started their OBM business, and they are worried about the downturn of the economy. They're worried about, am I going to need a business savings account, especially if I am an LLC or a C Corp? And if, how should I be thinking about savings in my business? How should I be thinking about any of that? Do you have any ideas or pointers there?
Yeah, and it's very similar to the personal side of things. When you do start that business, I do like you to you need to understand. And in the beginning, I don't find a lot of business owners really understand their costs going out and then what they have coming in. And sometimes you might go several months without getting paid. And depending on your line of work, it might always be that way. So really having that cash, depending on your business and the cash flow, that might be 6 to 12 months of business expenses to be able to quote unquote make payroll for yourself in cash. And that is absolutely fine. And once it's consistent and once you know, hey, this is where my bank account is always staying, then it's okay to put a portion of that even in the CDs that make a little bit higher interest, but always accessible.
Awesome. 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 I love that. Y'all, I'm going to ask again. We have about 8 more minutes of Jessica's time. Any other questions that you have for her on setting yourself up for financial success when taking the leap? Also, just so you know, I put Jessica's email address right there so you can reach out to her for that free consultation. Y'all, run, do not walk, and do that. Like, that is so incredibly important, especially as you are making the moves here. We want everyone set up for success. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Jessica, again, since these are online business managers who are starting off their career or they're getting started in their business or what have you, is there anything that I didn't ask that you think that we absolutely need to hit home for these women?
I think the only other thing that we probably haven't touched on is when you think about being your own business and if you are the sole provider for your home, you may want to make sure once your business is up and running and consistent and you can afford it, making sure you have some type of disability insurance. So in the event you couldn't work, that you could still pay your bills and do things through this disability insurance. I find a lot of folks are underinsured. Also, as your business becomes more successful, your umbrella policy needs to be increased so that if someone were to sue you, you don't lose your personal assets and it's covered through your umbrella policy. So I think insurance would be for those folks who have a more matured business, understand their cash flow, more consistent, and then really looking at every year or two, evaluating that, because in theory your business should be growing, and then increasing those amounts of coverage as required.
Oh my gosh, we have never talked about insurance on this on our podcast or live show or what have you. So I'm so glad that you brought that up, especially the disability. Great, great, great point. Y'all, we will try and find some resources to provide y'all. But I don't, again, want to scare you. You don't need that day one. Like Jessica said, like, this is once you're rolling, once you got the cash flow, all of that. So deep breaths. I know that you are all OBMs and you like to have a to-do list and you like to have a plan. Just another thing to add to your plan. Great. We got a question from Natalie. Any suggestions or recommendations on whether an LLC or an S Corp is better from a financial perspective for an online business manager?
Yeah, so often what happens is I see it with growth of the business and income of the business. Most people will start out as an LLC. As that business grows, they might move into an S Corp, a C Corp. From a tax perspective, your personal tax professional can tell you based on your state and your location and your expenses and all of that, which option is best for you. There's not a one size fits all, this, save 10% for retirement type of strategy for the type of business registration that you have. Oftentimes I do see the LLCs first and then moving into an S Corp, C Corp type of business. It's all about taxes and it's all about savings, right? So in some cases, if you're a different registration, you can actually put more into your retirement account. So it's all that manipulation as your cash flow increases, how to pay less in taxes and save more.
Awesome. So question, again, we're all used to either going on TurboTax to do our taxes or have a personal CPA. But when you are starting your own business, like you're a financial advisor, then you're also mentioning a CPA. Do you have any recommendations for this group on what, and I'm going to call them financial professionals, they need to be thinking about adding to their business or contacting to ensure that they're doing everything money right moving forward and as their business grows?
Yeah, so I think if they have a in the beginning, they can probably do their own taxes, right? They're not complicated, but they get more complicated, and sometimes you miss little loopholes. So having that tax person, I think the one, and maybe 2 points I would point out is sometimes you outgrow those people, and you
Mm,
have to be okay with understanding that maybe that person has reached their capacity and their knowledge in your industry or with your taxes, and then you need to up level to someone who has a little bit more expertise. Also will cost you more money, but you don't need to start typically with a a CPA or a CFP or whatever in the beginning. But you need someone who can understand all facets. That's why we love partnering with the person, the tax professional, and then ourselves. We really think of ourselves as the hub, and then we work with the attorneys. We're in everybody's business and all the facets, because then we can make sure that all the plans are coming together, and this person isn't working in their silo and this person in their silo, and can have a cohesive team that somebody might not be connecting a dot on.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I think about that all the time. Do I know if my CPA for my business is talking to my personal CPA, who's talking to my financial advisor, who is talking to my attorney, all of these different things? That's such a good point. So that would be a huge pro of having a financial advisor.
Yeah, as long as that financial advisor does that, and it will tell you not all do, right? Not all
Oh,
people are created equal.
great point. And so, in that same vein, I see a lot of alternatives out there who are like, I'm the one stop shop. I'm going to be your financial planner. I am going to be your advisor. I am going to be your CPA. I'm going to be your business CPA, all of these different things. What are some things that you would caution people on having one throat to choke when it comes to all of those different hats?
Yeah, I don't think, as complex as things are in the world today, I don't think that one person can be an expert in all areas,
Great point.
personally.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, you would want to make sure your financial planner is a CFP. To me, that's the gold standard. They understand how to pull the attorneys, the tax people. They know enough to be dangerous in all facets. So for me, that's a non-negotiable. For your tax person, I don't want them to be my attorney too, right? I want my attorney to be my attorney and my tax person to be my tax person. Because again, if you're just dabbling in a bunch of stuff, I think you're an expert in nothing.
Y'all, what do we always say? Where energy goes, focus flows, right? It's so true. Got to focus on one thing. You get really, really good at one thing. Be the laser, not the sun. Abso-freaking-lutely. Jessica, loved it. Thank you for your time today. I am so forever grateful. Y'all, if you have any other questions, please let us know and we will send them over to Jessica. Jessica, anything else that you want to share with people of how they can reach you, how they can find you, any other nuggets to chew on? Stage is yours.
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook. Just look up Jessica Tomac on Facebook, Edward Jones. You can find me LinkedIn. Ultimately, what I would tell you is, ladies, gentlemen, don't wait. Take a step now. A baby step today means you're walking later. And really, people are scared. That's why they don't move and take steps. But it doesn't have to be scary. Find a person that you can partner with and you feel comfortable with. They should be there to help you. And if they're not, fire them and find someone who is.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, everyone who is on today. Can't wait to see you next week when Leah is sharing some exclusive content on the tech that clients want and are asking us for. Only can get that here. Thank you. Be a buffalo. Yes, Natalie, be a buffalo. Take the steps. See y'all next week.
Thank you.